Hello! Way to make an entry. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be in the world. Welcome to Charging League Racing. My name is GingerNut1107, better known as Cal, and today we're about to get back into some serious racing action. It's only been 24 hours since Thursday tier was running. However, it's been a whole week since we've seen some Thursday tier going ahead. I might have said Thursday tier a second ago. I meant Wednesday. I'm going to quickly put my Xbox mic on, just so they can't hear me in game. We'll go here. There we go. Right. Hello, Pascal. That is one old name. That is a very old name. So, we are here, Charging League Racing, around 8 at Mexico. It's quite an interesting track. It's quite high up in planet Earth from sea level. 17 corners to tricky their way around. That's good English, isn't it? 4.3 kilometers. It's about 150 kilometer race distance. It's about 36 laps ish. And yeah, gonna be some good fun. I expect pole to be around 14.3 ish. If I can maybe not have some voice cracks, we'll go ish. Anyway, moving on. We will put ourselves ready for some qualifying. So yeah, obviously Mexico. It's a good one. It is a good one. Hello, Weeby. Pascal thinks 13th ish, not by me though. I mean, Powertwan said it's going to be 14 low for him, and he's a professional, as some would say. Oh, bit of a dangerous entry into the track by the Kick Sauber. However, Bubba is going to be ahead of that Red Bull by a whisker of a whisker, you could say. Anyway, Bubba does like to be one of the first ones out on track. Obviously, being in the Kick Sauber, he is the last one in the pit lane. So he has an extra couple of seconds in that pit garage to get himself ready and probably still be the first one out compared to that Red Bull who would have to click very fast to get out as soon as he did. I say that, we're already a minute into the session, and just like that, time flies. Time flies when you're having fun. So it is time for me to put my thinking brain on and get into it then, shall we? So, we have some new people. Pascal, you could say is new. You could say, possibly, maybe not, if you know, you know. Track Racer, I believe, I'm just going to quickly look on my... Here, yes, he is also new. Viri, Thursday tier, I believe, is new, yes. Doe was here previously. I think he's done one race a couple of weeks ago. Yes, he did. And Powertwan is also not new. I think he did one race and he won it by a mile. So he's been, we could say, given a bit of a disadvantage today. But we'll wait and see how that plays out for him. We'll talk about that in the race. For now, though, we've got the Dutchman called Bubba in the Kick Sauber, the fluorescent green car, bombing it down to turn 1. Such a long piece of track. But he locks up into turn 1. Really tricky one to get right as you're doing pedal to the metal for quite a long time there. But through turn 2 and 3, not too bad. But it'll be a purple sector 1 as it'll be the first one to come across for that penultimate sector 1, you could put it as. For turn 4 and 5, getting that couple of corners nicely done before getting wide before turn 6. Swinging it around for the double double apex corner, that's the word, that's the professional terminology. Then we got turn 7, swing it through to turn 8 before turn 9, left-hander, turn 10, right-hander, there he goes through. For turn 11, left-hander, a lot of corners in a very short sequence of time. But Bubba, glued to the track, will go on board with him through the final sector, turn 12 before turn 13 here. Hit that inside apex if you dare, for cutting it as close as you can through turn 14 and then the kink of 15. Final 2, 16 and 17. You get as close as you can to that pit lane entry before you cross the line for a 1:15.5. It's an okay lap time by the Kick Sauber, but it's not perfect. Twinkie seems to have validated his lap. He'll be going again. And then next across the line will be Pascal's teammate of Viri, who is third. I'm a little bit surprised we have 2 Williams. Let me just double check that is correct. Is Viri a full time? Viri is a full time. That explains it. I knew that. Apparently. Max here comes across the line as well and goes a 1.1 off of now dear Alex, who is topping the time sheets. Last week we had other Alex competing with Alex. It was quite exciting, and obviously Alex then went off. This was the other Alex. This was Alex Cargo went off. However, dear Alex now has a different competitor of Track Racer. It's never easy for the man, is it? The title was title leader. Is now obviously second to Hobnob, but on the same amount of points. It's close, but Track Racer, on his debut at the moment, is in P1. The weatherman called Jens Jardenhal, as he'll spank me for saying it wrong, Jens Jardenhal, says it's going to be a dry day out here in Mexico. Furitapi gets himself up into P5. Emperor is into P8. Pascal P9 on his return after about 4 or 5 seasons away. Twinkie on his first lap is quite far down the grid order. He'll be looking to set a better lap time for sure. Max Tier seems to be going again as he's done a cool down lap. Yes, he is. So Max Tier going for another lap. Let's follow him through. He doesn't get much footage as he sits at the back of the pack for most races. So let's watch with the boss now as he goes towards turn 1. What can he do? Does he lock up like Bubba did? No, he does not. We'll go on board for turn 2 and 3. Hitting those apexes fairly. And a little bit of tank slapper. The camera pressure gets the Max Tier. And we'll see if it's an improvement through sector 1. As we go to the end now, across the line, it's not. It's quite far down. He goes wide again, missing the apex of turn 4. And he spins through turn 5. Oh, Max. What a camera can do, hey? Max here spinning on the exit of turn 5. That'll be on TikTok later on. Fabulous. We'll move away from him so he can calm down a little bit. Oh, dearie me. Dearie me. Twinkie. What can Twinkie do? Twinkie through the final corner now. He'll come to the line. What will it be to the line? It'll be an improvement of 2.5 seconds as he's doing a little bit of wiggle there. 3 seconds still behind of Track Racer. But up to P12 as he was. Only 3 tenths off Pascal. Not too bad. He's closing up. He is slowly closing up. As Reggie is taking the scenic route. Doing a bit of lawn mowing. As we slowly see him come round that Chrome McLaren through of turn 11. The tricky sector of turn 2. Quite a nasty one, you could say, as he lets the Haas of what will be Jens pass. So Jens actually up to P5 and Ricciardo up to P3. So these two not doing too bad. 2 FIA members up there with the top dogs. Jens might have a little bit of a nosebleed here, not knowing what to do in a top position like P5. Pink Web as well. Is he a race winner this season? Let's have a look. Where are you, Pink Web? Alpine. No, you're not. Pink Web P6 at the moment in qualifying. Still behind Yen, so something to be ashamed of. The Alpine will be looking to improve and get his first win on the board for CLR Thursday Season 5. Obviously, F1 25 launch season race champion, I should say, for Thursday tier. So he knows what he's doing. Definitely knows what he's doing. Who's that coming around? Who are you? Is that Twinkie again? Yes, it is. Into the pit lane. 2 back-to-back laps. He did find a lot of time in that second lap, so we'll keep an eye on if he can find any more soon enough. So I'm just trying to figure out what I'm doing. Anyway, moving on. Lots of people messaging me. I'm just going to double-check Sick Path isn't coming. Let's have a look, see, shall we? As it is a little bit of the dual part we get, so. Right, moving on. Who is that? That is your boy Hobnob. Right, current championship leader. What can he do? As Reggie gets himself up to P5. Not bad by the McLaren driver. We're gonna watch the Hobnobs, the knobs of the Hobs. That was weirder than I thought it would be. Anyway, Red Bull. He gets a little bit of a tow by the Mercedes down the main straight through turn 1, 2 and 3. That is all the corners you have for Sector 1. Quite an easy part to do. It's mainly foot to the floor for most of Sector 1. Purple, according to my timing sheets, in Sector 1 goes Hobnob. The Biscuit Man, not doing too bad. Through turn 6, a double apex. He takes quite nicely, but a little bit of a tank up on the exit. Not what you want. We'll ride on board. And it looks like he's having a little bit of a tricky Sector 2 here. Maybe running lower wings and is quicker in that Sector 1. Maybe better for the race. We'll find out in due time. Through Sector 2, the timing sheet says he's purple, but we can never trust it on this game because it's made by EA. So as he comes through turn 13, what can he do through Sector 3? In quite a high gear, third gear at quite a low speed, it can provide that traction that you need to get a good lap time in. What will it be? Yeah, Sector 2, I don't think it was as good as the timing sheet said it was. 9/10 off the pace. Your boy Hobnon will be looking to improve for sure. As we move back down the grid order, Pascal seems to invalidate his lap as he returns to the pit lane. McLaren of, that is Reggie, also comes into his pit lane, into the pit box. Mercedes of Emperor. Race before that was Austria, so it's his debut with me in the commentary box. Obviously, I wasn't there for Austria. Possibly not here next week as well, as I'm going to go be eating a lot of pizza, but we'll find out. As, oh my words, Track Racer has just gone 8/10 ahead of Dear Alex, which is very, very quick. Powertrain, we'll see what he can do compared to Dear Alex, but that is an incredible lap time. Holy, I didn't even know he was on a lap, to be honest. That has come out of nowhere. Dear Alex is 8/10 behind the man. We'll keep an eye on that. We'll keep an eye. As Power Twan, I think, is actually on a lap. Let's have a look. We'll follow with him. And yeah, it looks like he's going quite aggressive into Sector 3 now. So we'll go on board with the Aston Martin through turn 13 for 14. Hits that curb quite aggressively and goes very wide through 16. Yeah, I'm not surprised there as he comes into the pit lane. I think those tyres might be a little bit hot there. That final sector was not good at all by the Aston Martin. So that first lap time by the man is going to be abandoned, which is a shame. Emperor sets his lap time, second lap time, and it is only good enough for P13 still, but it is an improvement of about 3/10. So not too bad, not to be worried just yet. He's got a bit of time left. As Dear Alex improves by about 2/10. He's now only 6/10 behind the Kick Sauber of Track Racer. So, Track Racer, very, very good on the debut here in CLR, showing some serious pace. We jump down the grid order. Jens all the way down in P8 now. He was up in P5 earlier on. Obviously, quicker people saying quicker lap times has dropped him down, but he'll be looking to improve on the next lap. Probably a fresh set of tyres. We'll see what the Haas can do in about a minute or so's time. And the same as Ricciardo, also going on to start one of his second laps. We'll keep an eye on that in about a minute's time. But for now, we will jump to... who is that? Is that the V-Carb? I think it's not. I think it's the Red Bull. I think it's Twinkie. Yes, it is. We'll have a look at... Yeah, we'll have a look at Twinkie. Here he comes then. What is Twinkie to do? Through Sector 2. A very easy place to find heaps and heaps of time if you get it right. Same for the final sector here. And Twinkie is up quite drastically on his previous time. So here he comes through the final few corners. What can he do? Can he get it just right to get himself up this grid order? It looked quite nice. Maybe a little bit slow, but it was held together quite nicely to the line. Big improvement, about 1.3 seconds by the Red Bull. And he's now 2.2 off the pace, only just behind three-time world champion George Gamer. So not too bad stat to have for the Red Bull driver of Twinkie. Bubba as well, looks like he's gone for another lap. No, he has not, he's abandoned it. Into the pit lane goes the Kick Sauber. I think he might have just improved his previous lap, as he is definitely up there. We go to Ricciardo now, through the final few corners. What can he do? The Portuguese driver, through the final corner now, to the line. It looks quick, it is quick. And it's good enough for P4. Weeby's going to be happy to see his one of his favourites of Ricciardo and Bubba up in P3 and 4 respectively. Not doing too bad, these two at all, are they? As my controller is getting some mad vibrations from watching that Kick Sauber go into his garage. That is ridiculous. Jens as well. What did Jens do? He has improved and he's up to P6 now, just ahead of Ricciardo's teammate of Reggie. So Jens, not too bad as he cuts through turn 3 a little bit there, wanting to get back to his garage and get round for another lap for sure. I can almost assure you he is looking at that clock, praying he's going to make it in time. Power Twan, here he is. Ooh, maybe a little bit of traffic there at the start of Sector 2. We'll jump on board as he winds his way through 6th gear. Does he go for a 7th? Not just yet, maybe now. Yes, it is. A little bit of battery deployment through the end of Sector 2. Purple, according to the timing sheets. Here he goes. A McLaren ahead of him. Will the McLaren get out of the way? It might give the Aston Martin a little bit of dirty air here. Maybe a little bit of a hindrance by the McLaren, who actually jumps into the pit lane as well. The Aston Martin going as high as he can. 5/10 behind Track Racer. Not too bad at all. And the Aston Martin stops on track. You might want to get moving. I'm not entirely sure what he's doing because it's going to disqualify him. He doesn't need to start at the back unless he wants to. Is that his plan? Does he want to start at the back? I think that might be what he's doing. Yep, he wants to start at the back. Okay, interesting call, interesting call. Obviously, he's got to use full fuel, so... interesting. We'll have a look. He seems to not be happy with Ricciardo, that McLaren, yeah. We saw it on stream, didn't we? We'll go away from the powertrain. But we did see it on stream. We saw Ricciardo was through Sector 3 just chilling in front of the Aston Martin. It definitely must have given him a little bit of a dirty air hindrance there. We now watch Pascal, a man that's been here before. He knows what it's like to race around in under the flag of CLR. Also under the flag of Williams, I believe. He knows what it's like. But here he comes through the final few corners. I think he's abandoned that lap and he might be coming into the pit lane. Looks like it as he's on the right side of the track, yes. So, Pascal boxes for that lap. I don't know if he has time to go again. It's gonna be squeaky bum time for the Williams team there. Obviously, Viri as well is out, but he's all the way down in P13. So, it's getting a little bit nervous for James Vowles as he'll be hoping for a couple of his drivers to jump up the grid order. Let me join. Sick Path wants an invite. We'll try and get him in. Yeah, there's not much time left, but we'll try. Right, so everyone out on track now. Emperor seems to be the one on a hot, but he isn't improving. So we'll go up to the Kick Sauber. Track Racer, currently 6 attempts ahead of Dear Alex. Yeah, that's a big gap. That's a big gap. So, Pascal and Doe, that is their qualifying session over. There'll be no more for either of them. Same for Sick Path, from starting the back of this grid. Track Racer, though. Can he find any improvement through Sector 1? It seemed to be a good lap beforehand. We'll ride on board through Sector 1 as he comes to the line. It's a 600th of an improvement by the Kick Sauber. Not much, but a little is a little, and that's going to help him later on in the session. Unless Dear Alex can close up. He knows what it's like to be up there in qualifying. Does the British driver. Here comes Track Racer through Sector 2 now. That is a beautiful couple of corners. Can he make the rest of them stick just right? Yes, he can. That is class by Track Racer. Some seriously good driving through Sector 2, and he's wow over a 10th up on his previous lap time. This could be something. I said it'll be a low 14. We saw Pascal saying it could be in the 13s. Let's see as Track Racer comes to the line. Does he break the 13-second mark? No, he does not, but he crashed over the line, which I think might be a DSQ. I think it might be a DSQ. I'm not sure what the rules apply, but that's going to be down to Sloth to make the decision, but I think that's a DSQ. I'm not sure. Bubba comes across the line. He doesn't improve. The Ferrari of George Gamer improves by about 5/10, which is a massive improvement by the Ferrari. Only good enough for P8. We'll look down the grid order. Emperor can't improve. The Alpine. Can Pinkweb improve? Yes, he can. He beats Alex as it stands up to P2. Next across the line was Alex, and he goes up to P2, beating Pinkweb by 2/10. Then we had Viri saying all the way down in P13, not a good day for Williams. Reggie gets P5 in the McLaren. Then it was Twinkie up to P11 in the Red Bull. Not a bad lap time by him. Then he gets doubled by Max Tier in the Ferrari. Not too bad from all the drivers across the line so far. Furious Appy gets himself up to P7. A very good lap time by the B-Carb driver. Who was the next one? Jens has come across the line. He's into P9. Ricciardo gets P4 at the end of this session. Who was the other Alpine? There is no other Alpine. I'm not sure who that is. Your boy Hobnob splits the McLarens for P5. So it only leaves Bubba. Is Bubba on a lap? No, he's not. So Bubba into the pit lane. That ends up qualifying. And of course he goes into the pit lane. He could just take the flag. But that is qualifying. Over and done. Just like that. Almost like I'm breaking to the song. Not bad at all, is it? Not too bad at all. Let's take a quick photo of that though. Bing. Amazing. So, good lap times across the board. Track Racer, the 1:14.352. Holy moly, that's a good lap. Sixth Path is here, so he'll be in the race. Looking down the grid order, it's a mixed one. It's a mixed one. As my brain was just trying to process it. Furious Appy up there. He'll be chuffed with that. Obviously, Sick Path not getting a lap of him. Powertrain DSQing after his lap. So, I don't know if that was a planned thing for him. Your boy Hobnob only doing good enough for P5. That's another thing that's been noted in his qualifying. Hobnob only good enough for P5. He does love a Sunday racer, doesn't he? Same as George Gamer. Maybe that's why they're champions of CLR, because they know what it's like, and you know you need to get the points in Sunday. Saturday doesn't really matter at the end of the day. Pascal says, let's hope the race will be an improvement. Pascal ended up in P15, the final driver to set a lap time, and it was about 6/10 off of Emperor. On his return to CLR, I think he's realised that, yeah, it's a bit competitive. That's misleading. I thought Justin Bieber joined the chat, but it was just a notification. That'd have been interesting, wouldn't it? Pascal subscribed for 1 month at a tier 1 for CLR. Thank you very much for the subscription, Pascal. But if you don't know, we now have a 2-minute pause where I just waffle on, try and fill the time for George Gamer to, you know, give a bit of a break for the drivers. I get to have a little bit of a sip of water. I also get to run you a 1-minute ad break, so have fun. I will see you in them. Obviously, not all of you get said 1-minute ad break, so I do continue to waffle on. But before we get going, oh, sounds like we're going now. That's a bit early. Emperor. Is it Emperor? Yeah, by the sounds of it, Emperor did it. Okay. That's strange. He's done it before. I mean, he knows what he's doing before, but we'll see. We'll go to our formation app then. We won't ponder on this, but for now we'll look at our tyre information. So, unlike previously in certain tracks where it's a little bit different and we see a mix of tyres, at the moment we got mediums on everyone apart from 2 drivers at the back, Pascal and Doe. They've both gone for the hard. Obviously, is it a 2-stop here today? You know, it's a call which is a tricky one to make. However, it can play out in your favour, you know. So the drivers have got to think about that throughout the race. The ones that have gone for the hard tyre might be looking to go long and go for the medium, or they might be looking to just thrash these hards out the window, go for a set of mediums, and then maybe another set of hards at the end. Obviously, within time, we will find out. Give it 36 laps, and I'll give you the true answer. For now, it's down to our drivers to see what they think is best. Obviously, it's also down to Track Racer to keep the lead down to turn 1. We've got a very long distance. It's probably up to a kilometre, if not more, of a distance that Track Racer's got to try and survive from Dear Alex and Pink Web. Obviously, everyone else behind as well, but these two are the ones that are right there and will bring the sweat to the forehead of the Kick Sauber. But for now, we'll jump to the back of the grid. We'll have a look, as this will be Doe who will bring us around into his grid spot. The squeal of the tyres sounds like a go-kart, but everyone loves to hear that, as I think Sick Path is slightly out of position. Is he trying to get himself back past? It looks like it, but for now, he'll stay behind. He'll end up in the same grid spot, so it's not too bad of a problem. But everyone else is formed up now. So it is the final few drivers that will come into the grid spot. And Doe will round us off in P17 as the Aston Martins down in P16 and 18 respectively. But we jump now back to the front of the field. It is going to be exciting this first lap. It's going to be an exciting 36 laps. But here we go now as we'll go to 5 big red lights here in CLR for round 8 Thursday tier. It's lights out and away we go. A kilometre of distance to cover before we even reach one turn. Who can come out on top? Track Racer, the best start so far. Dear Alex, though, on the second portion of this straight, has quite a good little bit of a slipstream. To the outside of turn 1 goes Dear Alex. Squeezed by the Kick Sauber. Can he do a switchback possibly? As we go through turn 3. Change the camera. There we go. Here we are. Going down the second straight towards turn 4. Little bit of wheel banging. As Dear Alex goes to the outside, he'll have the inside of what will be turn 5 before the double right-hander of turn 6. They're still side by side as we finish sector 1. We'll go towards sector 2 for P1. Who comes out on top? Dear Alex comes out on top as Track Racer has to give in to the V-carb driver. What a move by Dear Alex. A long move as well. But that was something else. Pink Web has to sit and watch that fight with a bucket of popcorn, which I think he might have gone through quite quickly, as that was something else. I saw the other Kick Sauber of Bubba getting flung off down the main straight at the start of this race, and that might be front wing damage. We'll keep an eye on that as we go back to the tyre strategies. We'll go down our grid order as here they come through the main straight. I can't see any wing damage. Yep, definitely on that Kick Sauber or Bubba, there's a bit of wing damage, but I think there might be some more, but I can't visually see it. Viri comes in, so Viri was another one to suffer, but he does pit as well. So Viri and Bubba have come out with damage on this first lap, but Bubba stays out. Maybe a strategy to pull out early on, but it could affect him. As we know, that damage can be quite bad, but down the difficulties, we have just missed lap 3, but we're back again. For the continuation of this race. Fingers crossed nothing goes wrong. I don't know if it was my end. It seems to be okay, but we'll keep an eye on that. But we're going again. I do apologise. So, continuing with this race after said technical difficulties, Track Racer is back up to P1. He's got past Dear Alex here on about lap 3. You did miss it, but there is yellow flags. What's that for? Oh, Sick Path! Sick Path's off in turn 1. So Sick Path's gone straight on at turn 1. He's lost his front wing. Done a bit of a Sergio Perez as he tries to return to the track. A little bit of a lag there for the Aston Martin. I'm not sure what's happening. But yeah, that's not what you want for the Aston Martin car. His teammate up in P6 though. And is really flying, isn't he? He's flying up this grid order. The bit rate seems to be absolutely atrocious. So, fingers crossed, it's okay, but I'm glad to see that we were at 12 viewers back in the chat. It's nice to have you back. I do apologise. I do apologise for the incident. Dear Alex, though, has not lost off too much time to Track Racer. Track Racer has gone purple. But lap 3 was very quick. 1:18.2, obviously full of fuel are these drivers. So, you know, they're going to have a little bit of a deficit. But it's still not bad. Dear Alex keeping up quite nicely, though, as there is a fight between two very close friends. Dear B, I'll get it right one day. George Gamer and Reggie went at it down the main straight. George Gamer comes out on top, up to P8, where he started, I believe. Let's have a look. Oh no, he started P10. So George Gamer up a couple of positions, showing why he is a bit of a Mr. Sunday here in CLR, and also a 3-time world champion. Sick Path, after that damage, retires in the pit lane. I'm not surprised. It was quite bad damage. Barber as well has made a pit stop. We jump up the grid order, and I see Reggie ghosted on the exit of turn 5 there. I'm not sure why, but he's dropping like a dead fly all the way down to P14 now. Not what you want. I think he was just with George Game, wasn't he? But he's now about 7 or 8 seconds behind George Gamer. As we see another instant, that's Emperor. Where's Emperor? There he is. There's Emperor, the Mercedes, rejoining the track. A couple of drivers struggling here early on. Lap 5, tyre wear may be kicking in. Maybe some tyre temps causing some issues. But some of these drivers really showing some, what's the word? Some struggle on these mediums. Power Twain now is right on the back of the pink web train. Jens is also the final carriage, but he might be disembarked, as these drivers ahead are very quick and are showing some serious pace, as are the front two. Dear Alex and Track Racer are going hammer and tong for P1 during lap 5. A very good move by Dear Alex. Hamlet, so that's Sick Path, says his wheels turned off, and not what you want. That'll be why he went straight on at turn 1. Fingers crossed he didn't impact anyone else during that instant. Reggie's got himself back up to P12 as well, getting past Twinkie. Recovery from his small instant. But we look ahead and there seems to be another instant. Who's that? It's Furious Happy rejoining onto the circuit, roaring up those rear tyres in that V-car. Furious Happy, the second driver to face the dust of the outside of the track here in Mexico. Really tricky one to get right through sector 2, and a lot of drivers begin to suffer from it. We ride on board with Track Racer skipping to Dear Alex, and Track Racer skips past Dear Alex there. Reggie's left the session, so we'll try and re-invite him. Don't want him to miss out, but there we go. Yeah, Dear Alex getting skipped by Track Racer there. A nice little move. We then just come back to the pink web train. It's a couple of drivers just sitting there in the DRS, not doing anything just yet, knowing pink web has pace. You'd be silly to make a move. Just sitting there in the right window is what you want to do. George Gamer on a window of his own, all the way down in P8, 4-5 seconds ahead, 7 seconds behind. Big gaps. As Doe's not doing too bad himself, up in P9, the other Hash driver showing some very good skill, as Twinkie has managed to get past Pascal and Reggie. Obviously, Reggie has left the session. We'll give him another invite to see if we can get him back in. As, Max Tier. Max Tier's made a pit stop. Right. This is where we talked about earlier. We have the 2 stops. We have the 1 stops. Is Max Gamer, that's a very weird mix of the Ferrari duo. Is Max Tier forcing himself onto a 2-stop here? I'd have to say yes. Obviously, my expert F1 racing skills as a multiple championship race winner, la moving on. Max Tier, I think hard tyres can't go that long. It's a very long race, 36 laps, very hard on tyres. I don't think he'd bring that hard that long. Max Tier not the best on tyres, but you never know. We'll keep an eye on that, as it could be a massively done undercut here on round 8, lap 7. I don't know why I said the round. I meant to just say the lap, but I kept on going with it. Come on, Reggie. Get back in this race. But we go back to the pink web train. It's been the pink web train for quite a while. And I thought it might become the hoblob train. But the hoblob train doesn't want to take over the pink web train. As that's a very big slide by pink web on the exit of turn 9. That was a little bit of a brown pants moment. I think he might need a new set of pants and a new set of tyres after that. We skip down our grid order now. It's close in some areas, but this front pack is the one that is really showing some fight. The rest of the pack really spreading out a bit. A good 2 or 3 seconds between most drivers. What can your boy Hobnob do now with the DRS? Or maybe Ricciardo, who's right up the chuff of the Red Bull. But we now see a pit stop, and that is for the Aston Martin. Mediums off, hard on. Interesting. So, again, maybe copying Max here. Is that a 2-stop? Is that a guaranteed 2-stop for the Aston Martin of powertrain? I'm not sure. However, maybe it's a good idea. Maybe the 2-stop's the way to go. Because DR Alex is... I don't think I've ever seen that man do a 2-stop. Ever. He does like himself a 1-stop, doesn't he? He does like himself a 1-stop. With powertrain pitting, it does give Jens a very big gap ahead that he's now got to try and close if he wants to get back in that DRS of Ricciardo. It's obviously a tricky one. These drivers are quick. Pinkweb, Hobnob, Ricciardo, and then Jens. Very big names, and then Jens. So we'll see what he can do. We'll see what the little Danish driver of Jens Jardenhag can do. Ricciardo, though, is showing some serious pace. Pinkweb on the medium tyre has pit. So, obviously, Hobnob will still have DRS, I believe, as he was there from the detection. When, oh, Jens! Oh, commentator curse, my friend. Oh, Jensy Bear. What a way to do it. What a way to do it. Jens is pit. So has George Gamer in the Ferrari. All of them going for a set of hards. Ricciardo, I'd be surprised if he doesn't make a move sooner rather than later. Now Hobnob, after this straight, will not have DRS on any car because there is no car in front of him. So it's going to be interesting to watch as Pascal has come out. Well, he hasn't picked yet, but he's on track just behind Powertrain, who has managed to jump Pinkweb. Jens will be Hobnob and Ricciardo, as there is a switch between the Ferrari, the Alpine, and the Williams. Obviously, Pascal on the hard tyres will be going long in this stint. Powertrain is, showing some serious pace, even with that excess fuel. Yeah, he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. We'll wait and see what he can do, though, as your boy Hobnob and Ricciardo are going to be going at it, seriously going at it, and will they come out behind Pinkweb or ahead? Ricciardo has called the trigger to come into the pit lane. Lap 10 it'll be. He'll make this pit stop, so he's taken them for a while. Into the Papaya pit box. Off goes the medium. On goes another set of mediums. He's copied Pinkweb there for the set of mediums again. So, guarantees Ricciardo for a 2-stop. Has to, physically. The likes that have gone to the hards don't have to. It's just what the tyres demand, okay? So that's where it gets a bit tricky. But this undercut works wonders here round Mexico. Jens seemed to get held up massively by Pascal, meaning Ricciardo's come out ahead. But if you look at Powertrain, he is massively ahead of Ricciardo. Obviously, now with Pinkweb, so the undercut has got him involved in this fight. I want to see your boy Hobnob coming in. Oh, issues after issues today. Issues after issues. Hopefully someone will invite me back. Hopefully someone's going to invite me back. This could be one of those days, isn't it? Internet goes down, stream goes down, game goes down. Just as it was getting exciting. Right, give me 2 seconds. I'm going to quickly join in with the boss and ask for an invite back. I'm going to need an invite back, mate, yeah? I know. Stream went down as well earlier. So obviously, I do apologise for the incident. I've joined in with some of our racers in a little bit of a radio comms between them both, asking for an invite back. Fingers crossed one of them gets back in before we miss too much action. But there it is. There's the invite back, everyone. So we all get back into this action, shall we? Let's get back involved. I'm gonna quickly leave this chat as soon as I'm back in because they are very loud. Come on, here we go. Here we go. Loading back in. I want to see where Hobnob is in all of this. I want to see where Hobnob is. Let's have a look. Right. I think we're in. Yeah, we are. So, let's get back into it. What's going on here? What? Spectator. Yes, that's fine. Figure myself out. Right. Here we are. Right, where are we? Powertrain's up to P3. Pinkweb is in P4. Doe's in P5. Ricciardo P6. Jens is in P7. Track Racer and Alex are in P1 and 2 still. Doe obviously still needs to make another pit stop. George Gamer, after pitting... Oh, what's happened here? What's happened to George Gamer? George Gamer through turn 2 was fighting with Bubba and Pascal, and all of a sudden he goes really, really wide. Maybe returning the position is what it looked like. I don't know if George Gamer would just casually make a mistake like that, but I'm not sure. George Gamer dropping down to P11, having a little bit of an interesting race, similar to his teammate, all the way down in P16. Track Racer and Dear Alex, both drivers, are into the pit lane now. Interesting. Why? Why are they coming into the lane now when they could have come in a couple of laps earlier? Maybe it's the one stop. Dear Alex, hard. Track Racer, also hard. Alex has got his hands very full here. Very, very full. With your boy Hobnob maybe coming out just next to his title rival. This could be interesting. Red Bull versus Red Bull sister team. It's going to be close for our title rivals here. All the way from P1 to P8. There's a fight on our hands. This is going to be one good race. I might need to stand up in a minute. I really might need to stand up. Track Racer going a little bit wild on the exit of turn 3. Might give Jens the right line to get involved for a fight here with the kick Sauber. Can he do anything before we get to turn 4? No, he cannot. Really close behind. Maybe the double right-hander. His tyres will be in a very nice operating window, unlike the kick Sauber. And with his teammate, Jens' teammate's right ahead of Track Racer. These two house drivers, they work together, could get Jens in a marvellous position. But they've got to work together. They really do. Powertrain will lead the Grand Prix. Pinkweb will be in P2 on the medium. Ricciardo's on a podium position as it stands in the McLaren, which if it stays like this, I think this might be his first ever podium in CLR Thursday, which will be beautiful to hear and see. Wait to see, there's still a lot of racing to do. We're not even halfway yet. Doe P4, Track P5, Jens P6, Alex P7, Hobnob P8, Bubba is in P9. George Gamer P10 with Pascal P11, Twinkie P12, Viri P13, Emperor P14, 15th is Appy, 16th will be Maxed here, and then Reggie is in P17. As we jump back to the front of our grid, Dear Alex is going at Jens, needing to make a move to get the car between him and his title rival. Jens really pushing him off there. Maybe a little bit cheeky, but we might be going 3 wide. Yes, we are. Towards turn 4, Jens backs out. I'm not surprised. Dear Alex is now going to be going hammer and tong with his title rival. Your boy Hobnob backs out, meaning Dear Alex will come out on top for P6. Jens losing 2 positions in the space of 2 corners there. I think he made the right call, though, as Reggie gets lapped. Unfortunately, he hasn't been able to rejoin the session. Your boy Hobnob, though, is showing some serious pace. Dear Alex also showing some pace. Jens just had to get out of the way there. That's not a place you want to be. I think Doe will also want to be jumping out of the way of Dear Alex sooner rather than later. Here we go. Dear Alex through the final few corners. I bet there'll be a couple of ERS buttons being used here down this straight, and before we even get to the DRS, Dear Alex is past the Haas car. Your boy Hobnob is also going to make that move happen fairly quickly, and I think Jens Jodenhall might be another driver to make a move. Oh, it's going to be close between the two Haas cars. Don't make a collision, you two. Oh, inter-team fighting. We love to see it on track. It's something that's exciting. Not if you're the principal, but Jens up to P7. Nicely done. Late on the brakes. Good move by Jens Jodenhall. Dear Alex setting a purple sector 1 there, showing some good pace. Dear Alex also obviously knows what he's doing to set a purple lap time round the streets, how to ignite a lap. He does know what he's doing, doesn't he? He really does. Your boy Hobnob, though, also does. Your boy Hobnob, 9/10 away from the V-Carb. He needs to get some pace out of this Red Bull to try and stay in that DRS, as they both trying to hunt back down the kick salvo of Track Racer, who's hunting down Ricciardo, who's hunting down Pinkweb. Pinkweb mentally will be trying to close up on Powertrain. However, Powertrain is showing some good pace as it stands, and is putting away a little bit, even with his disadvantage of 9 laps extra fuel. Extra fuel with 9 laps. He's still got some serious pace in that car. I think he probably has enough list. How many fuels he got? Let's have a look. Is that 30 laps left? Yeah, that's ridiculous, isn't it? It's a lot of fuel in that Aston Martin. Oh, there's a fire at the back of this field. Emperor and Furious Appy going at it, but as we get there, Furious Appy goes wide, and yeah, that is let Emperor back pass. Max here though is back on this fight. Max here is back in for a chance for what will be a point, maybe 2, as Twinkie in P11 is also up there. And the train, the Pinkweb train, is back on the trails, everyone. Make sure you get your tickets in, because Pinkweb is leading us off, the Mr. Conductor here. I wouldn't mind being part of the Pinkweb train. He knows what he's doing. He's an expert here in CLR and in sim racing. Ricciardo also is, but as I was just about to say his name, he gets a 3-second time penalty. Obviously, the commentator's curse is well and truly real. Well, I hadn't said it, I was just thinking it. I do apologise, Ricciardo, I do apologise. Here we go. On to lap will be, I believe, 18 now. No, it's lap 17. Track Racer on the inside of Ricciardo. They'll go side by side towards turn 1. Both of these drivers are DRS. Pinkweb's going to be a sitting duck though, so he might end up going 3 wide. The track gets very, very wide and then squeezes in for turn 1. Track Racer gets past Ricciardo. Now he's looking to get past Pinkweb. Can he do it? No, he cannot. A little bit of a collision. Ghosting. Ricciardo comes out of nowhere and gets past both of them. The Portuguese driver. Oh, what a way to do it. Beautifully done by the McLaren. Can he defend it? Yes, he can. Holy moly. Ricciardo, that is one way to show some class. What a way to make a move. Beautifully done through turn 2 and 3 complex. Wow. Wow. Pinkweb drops to P4. Dear Alex is literally pushing him through Sector 2. This is one insane race, or just an insane lap. As it stands, Dear Alex using some battery, using some DRS down towards what will be turn 12. And he makes that move before we even reach the corner on Pinkweb. Your boy Hobnob will be the next one to try and make a move on the Alpine. Obviously on the mediums, we saw how quickly they worn and died on the first stints of the other drivers. So it's going to be interesting to keep an eye on that. Track Racer now. He gets a second bite at the cherry. And the cherry this time is going to be Ricciardo. Dear Alex, who was all the way down in P8 or 9 earlier on, is back up into P3. We look back down a little bit further in this fight. Your boy Hobnob is trying to make a move on Pinkweb side by side round turn 2. Can he do what Ricciardo can do? Yes, he can. Your boy Hobnob gets himself up into a P5. He's still 2 positions behind his title rival, but he's a little bit closer, and that's what he needs to do. He needs to slowly close up, and if he can, get some point difference on the V-Carb. As it stands, if you don't know and you're just joining in, Dear Alex and your boy Hobnob are even on points. Your boy Hobnob only leading this championship on wins. That is 3 to none. 3 to none. We look down the grid order, and your George Gamer is going a fight with Bubba. The other Ferrari is going for a fight with Emperor, and maybe Furious Appy as well, as Twinkie is coming to the pit lane. And to come out of that fight for a couple of the wooden spoon points, but it's still points, and that is what matters at the end of the day. Points are points. Track Racer, after getting past Ricciardo and Dear Alex also passing the McLaren, are now going at a fight for P2. Powertrain, 4 seconds ahead of this fight. Got quite a fair gap. However, he'll be on a guaranteed 2-stop. Track Racer and Dear Alex, maybe not. As your boy Hobnob has also got past Ricciardo. So maybe the two medium runners, showing that mediums aren't that good. Maybe the strategy around here is a hard medium, or a different variation of that. The two hard tyres might be a way to go. These hards showing some insane pace here around the Mexico City Grand Prix. There's a lot of Sailforce stickers around here as well, isn't there? Sailforce and Qatar, as it seems to be everywhere. Everywhere. Anyway, you know, if Sailforce Qatar wants to sponsor CLR, they can feel free. We will plaster that everywhere. But just a observation. There's a lot of adverts, isn't there? Anyway, looking at the fight, it's still here. It's spreading out a little bit now, though. If he goes to the helicopter cam to watch Track Racer, Dear Alex is still there, but these two are closing up on the Aston Martin. Really closing up. So that was a second they've chipped out of the Aston Martin in that lap. And it could be more as we progress throughout this stint. Whether this is the final stint for the Kick Sauber and V-Carb, we'll find out. But we'll keep an eye, as yeah, they are showing some pace. As obviously 5 lap fresher tyres compared to the Aston Martin. I'm not surprised they're showing this pace. As there's a fight for P11 still going on, and this is between Furious Appy, Viri and Max here. We'll have a look. Of course we'll have a look. As Max here is trying to make a switchback on Viri. Can't make it happen. But that is a point ahead of him. That is a point which he very, very much wants / needs. But it won't be coming yet because he pits. Coming into the pit lane goes the Ferrari driver. 18 points as it stands for Max here. Looking to get some more on the board. Down in P15. Not anything he'll get yet. Not today. We'll keep an eye on it though, as we have got a yellow flag. And what is that for? I'm not sure. I think it might be for Viri, who's got a little bit of front wing damage. Obviously was fighting Furious Appy, and there's now a fair gap between them. So that might be where that incident was, but we'll have a look. We'll have a look. Back towards Track Racer. Another 5/10 been chipped out of Powertrain at the front. Dear Alex not losing out on the two medium tyre runners of Ricciardo and Pinkweb have finally come off that medium for a fresh set of hards. 16 laps they got to do on these. Although Doe makes his first pit stop. 20 laps he did on that hard tyre. Madness. Madness indeed. George Gamer as well, on the first hard tyre, has made another pit stop for another hard tyre. Interesting indeed. So George Gamer doing that medium hard, showing why it's the right strategy to go for sure. And he'll come out in the fight he was with beforehand, and that was with Bubba. His friend Reggie is also there, but he's a lap down, maybe even 2. So obviously Reggie, unfortunately for his sake, has had a little bit of a stinker race. A little bit of a stinker. There's a couple more drivers coming into the pit lane. Another one that is coming into the pit lane. Weak powertrain. We saw the time getting very quickly chipped away at that Aston Martin by the Kick Sauber and V-Carbs. As they get there, the Aston Martin comes into the pit lane, and that's for a second set of hards. So that will take them to the end of this Grand Prix. Obviously the 2-stop hasn't done him too badly, I don't think. P5 started P18, so you know, can't complain, can you? Can't complain. We settle in to a little bit of a stagnant portion of this Grand Prix. It obviously always comes around as the drivers are getting into that kind of rhythm. You see the rhythm come around earlier on, but this part of the Grand Prix now is more the kind of Zavai to the end. We've got this far. We've got to make it to the end now. I'll be gutting if you don't, as Bubba locks up quite drastically into turn 1 there. Obviously, flat spots are a key thing you do not want to get on those very fresh tyres, because it can cause some issues. It can really cause some issues later on. As we say, we're going to be looking at strategy for a lot of drivers. Track Racer and Dear Alex, obviously, they've made one pit stop. They don't have to make another. However, maybe it's the right call to make another. Everyone else around them possibly might. Jens maybe will be. Roy Hobnob, though, again, 2-lap all the tyres. Is that enough to stay out? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I mean, with 13 laps left to go, you would have to do what will be a total of 25 laps on a hard tyre, which is a very long time for a hard tyre to go. Your boy Hobnob is a tyre merchant. However, I don't know if he's that good. There is still a certain life that the hard tyre will eventually go at. And yeah, I don't know if the Hobnobs are that good at that. You'd pretty much have to walk around the track to make them last that long. Even then. Pirelli. We jump back to the front fight again. We want to see a move. We want to see some exciting moves and, you know, hammer and tong going on. But these two drivers, knowing all they've got to do at this part of the Grand Prix is just settle down and get through and just survive, as we said. But Dear Alex with DRS, maybe some battery issues, could get past, not on this straight, but the next. Obviously, the DRS is keeping him well and truly involved. And Jens once again gets a 10-second time penalty for speeding into the pit lane. Oh, dearie me, Jens. Dearie me. I think he'll serve... No, he won't serve the previous one. We'll have a look at penalties, though. So, yeah, he's now up to 26. I'm not sure what he's doing. Is he serving the 10 seconds after the pit stop? Jens, mate. Yeah, what? So, right, so Haas team have done the pit stop, then waited 10 seconds, then Jens has gone. Although he's still got a 10-second time penalty, so it's strange. Okay, fine. I don't know if that applies to the rules, but there we go. There we go. Dear Alex is really on the chuff of that kick Sauber. About a tenth closer than he was at this time last time around. Is he going to make a move? Is anyone going to pit? No, they're not. They're going to stay out for a bit longer. Just a bit longer. But here they go now. DRS on the V-carb. Can he make a move? The kick Sauber moves out the way. So follows does the kicks out the V-carb. My word, I'll get there one day. Obviously, that was Furious Appy's teammate we saw going. What am I waffling? I am off my brain right now. That was Dear Alex's teammate of Furious Appy coming out the pit lane there. So yeah, Furious Appy a lap down by his teammate. Not a nice stat to have, but it happens. It does happen. We'll have a look at this fight now. Max Deer via Twinkie. It looks like he's being hindered a little bit, but this is a point. This is a very crucial point for the Ferrari team. Obviously, Ferrari currently 4th in the Constructors, 25 points behind the V-Carbs. And obviously, yeah, the Constructors fight's well and truly on, as well as the Championship fight. So, you know, Ferrari have got to score some good points to make sure they're getting involved. Max Tier, here he comes now. Battery usage, I'm sure. DRS usage once we come to the line just now. Here he goes to the inside. That's easy move. Before we even get halfway down the straight, Max Tier's pass. And it will also be his aim now to push away as far as he can during this lap. Try and get out of DRS of Twinkie. If he can do that, then he doesn't have to worry about him. He can then focus ahead towards Pascal. Max Tier making that second stop already. He's already in there. He's in the good books. However, getting past Pascal will then have 24 seconds for the drivers ahead of him. So, he's got to be thinking about that. Is it worth playing the long game? He has dispatched of Twinkie now, has maxed here, and now will be looking to get past Pascal, I'm sure. I want to have a look at this fight. Who's this fight? Here they are. Viri and Emery. So, not Viri and Emery. Emery's someone else. Viri and Emperor. These two, 15th and 16th. Ahead of them is the Red Bull of, I would say, your boy Hobnob. So, your boy Hobnob has lapped them. So, there's the Red Bull. Then there's Viri, and then there's Emperor. These two fighting for P15. All the way down for the wooden spoon. But there's still a fight. Your boy Hobnob is actually on 15 apple tyres, so they might be able to unlap themselves from the Red Bull. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Pascal comes into the pit lane just as Max here catches up to him, so that'll be a bit of a kick in the side for the Ferrari driver, as Twinkie has actually got DRS there as well. So here comes Pascal onto a set of mediums after his pit stop. We'll show you the current pit stop, who's made them out of pit stops. So, 2 stops, all the way down from P9 down to P17. Yeah, Doe on the 1 stop so far. Doe is on the medium after being on the hard. He's been on that medium for quite a while. Actually 5 laps, not too long. Then, Bubba, Pinkweb, Ricciardo and Powertrain have done 2 stops, and they have been on those tyres for not too long. And then the drivers ahead of them, your boy Hobnob, Alex and Trey Racer. All on 1 stop so far, but we'll be looking to for sure make another stop. I think I would say that's probably a good call. My brain is just trying to process where each driver is. We kind of got GT2, GT3 and GT4 drivers out here, or not different skill levels, you could say. I'm just trying to figure out, looking at the track map, where these are. So, if you look at the track map at the bottom right, there's the arrow. There's the arrow of Trey Racer. Then you got Alex. Then you skip past 2 cars. Then you have your boy Hobnob. Then you go past the Mercedes. So, that was the Furious Appy, Viri and Emperor. Then you have Powertrain. Then you go past the Williams of Pascal and you have Ricciardo. Then you have Pinkweb. Then you go past the McLaren of Reggie and you have Bubba. Then it's Doe, then it's George, Jens, Max, Twinkie. Then this is when we get back to Furious Happy. So these are your lapped cars. All of these ones down here where all the timing sheets seem to have gone a bit scuffed. So yeah, a mix of drivers, but that is your current where they are on track. Powertrain, after making his second pit stop, will now be able to see that Red Bull ahead of him, who is fighting quite hard with Mercedes. But I think Powertrain will be making a move on that Red Bull. And bearing in mind the Red Bull hasn't made that second pit stop yet, so that's quite an interesting thing to think about. More importantly, Ricciardo, who is currently 4th in the driver standings, only behind Pinkweb, Alex and your boy Hobnob. He's 46 points behind that front fight, and he is obviously... Oh, what was that? There's Williams spun on the pit lane entry. We were on board with your boy Hobnob, who makes a pit stop. Viri on his entry to the pit lane, spins around. I've just been disconnected from my party. Let me join back in. Spins around. That'll be a front wing change for sure, and a tyre change. Not a nice way to have the end of your stint go, because he was actually having quite a nice stint and he actually ends up retiring, which is quite a shame. Our second retiree here at Mexico. Your boy Hobnob on his second pit stop has come out behind Ricciardo. He's come out behind the Powertrain and he's come out behind the Pinkweb. But he has come out ahead of Bubba and he's on a set of a medium compound of tyre. Not only is he on a softer compound of tyres to the drivers ahead of him, he's also on a fresher set of tyres, as these guys have been on these tyres for a long time. I am very, very interested to see, as we have about 7 laps left of this Grand Prix, what Dear Alex and Track Racer are going to do. Is it going to be a 2-stop? We'll find out as they come around the final couple of corners now. Do either of them look to the inside? No, they do not. I wouldn't be surprised to see these two opt for the one stop here, as that is Ricciardo lapping the Williams of what will be Pascal down in P15. We also have a look at Reggie, who is being lapped by the Haas car of Doe. Doe on the mediums are having a great race. Obviously, I think he's only made two. He's made his second stop, actually, isn't he? No, he's only made a one stop, so he's gone from hard to the medium. Doe on his debut race, which was at... Oh, where was it? It was at Singapore. Got 11th. And he's now up for 8th, but he's making a second stop. The second stop, which might be for a set of softs, possibly, if he's playing a risky game. But he's going to be coming out in what will be P10, and it'll be a quieter distance. He's gone for a set of hards. He's playing it very, very safe. He'll definitely go to the end. Interesting strategy calls. Interesting indeed. We look up the grid order now, though. Couple of penalties getting thrown around. We see Jens getting one. I saw your boy Hobnob getting one. Ricciardo's got one. Jens is on 19. Max is on 3, Twinky's on 9, Furious Appy 6, Emperor on 6, Pascal on 6. Reggie obviously retired earlier on from this race, so I don't think he'll count as a finishing driver, as he hasn't actually raced it. But here we go, at the front now, only a few laps left this Grand Prix. Dear Alex looked for a move, thought about a move, didn't make a move, stays behind for a bit longer. But with these two still out on track, it's got to be a one-stop for these two guys, isn't it? 5 laps left. It's going to be tricky. I think they're in for it. Your boy Hobnob on that fresh medium has just set the fastest lap of the race so far. Interesting. Will he be able to get past Pinkweb? I think so. The real question is, can he pull the 3-second lead he has to pull on Pinkweb to keep that P5? That's a real question. He needs to, really, and then he needs to get Ricciardo too, because he needs to be having as little deficit point difference to Dear Alex as he physically can. If it's a good world, he'd be beating Dear Alex, but I don't know if that will happen here today unless they pit, unless there's a puncher, unless something happens between these top two. Excuse me, as I just have a quick cough break. I have a look back at the front two. We've been having a look to see if they'll make any moves or switches between either driver for a while. As, oh, George Gaming gets a 3-second time penalty. That's the first time we've seen that in a long time. Long time. Yeah, we've been looking at these front two for a while, wondering if they'll start fighting. But Dear Alex has just been sitting there waiting patiently to make a move. Maybe in the final few laps he will finally do something, but Powertrain isn't making any deficits on the drivers ahead of him at all anymore. There goes your boy Hobnob though. He's made the pass on Pinkweb. He's got 4 laps now to try and pull away from the very worn boots of the Alpine. We'll have a look what he can do as he's now going through the Williams of Pascal. Obviously he is lapped, and as he's ghosted, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, with the fresher tyre, even to Pascal by 2 laps, he is going to be flying through. Although I think he might give the DRS to Pinkweb again. Even though I think he might have been out of it from your boy Hobnob. Maybe he might have just been in. But yeah, he still gets DRS for a little bit there. And then again, if he plays his cards right and stays behind your boy Pascal here, he might get another dosage. Or he might... Oh, it's going to be close. I think he's in the window to get it off your boy Hobnob. He didn't get it off Pascal for sure. He was definitely ahead of Pascal as he reached the detection point. Here we go. Let's ride on board. Let's have a look. He's not. Pinkweb. What's he done? He's out of the DRS. So Pinkweb's falling out of the DRS of your boy Hobnob. Which means your boy Hobnob's in a good spot to try and pull away now. In a really good spot to try and pull away. We'll keep an eye on that. We'll keep an eye. I'll switch this now over to interval just so you can see the gap difference between all our drivers. And I'll show you the penalties as well so you can do the math. But I'm having a look. I was wondering why I couldn't see them close together on track, on the track map. And I look at the timing sheets. There's 3.6 seconds covering Alex and Track Racer. Why? I don't know. Has Alex made a mistake? Have they come together? There's no damage, but there is a gap. And it has brought Powertrain into 6 seconds of Alex. And Alex is just dropping like a dead fly to Track Racer now. Really, really falling behind. Alex could be in a bit of a sticky situation now. If you're looking in the seats of a hobnob, you'll be quite happy seeing that your title rival is in such a predicament as he could have won that race, now looking to come P2. Yeah, the dear Alex curse of race wins here is really kicking him. As that is Powertrain just making its way through some lap traffic, but that lap traffic is in a fight for a single point here. As that's Pascal time from the session, that's not what you want, as he's all the way down in P15, right at the end of the Grand Prix. How unfortunate. He's only got about 3 laps left. But Twinkie and Fury's happy. The full Red Bull team versus the sister Red Bull team. Again, we see that in the constructor fight, and we see that in the championship fight. Between these two, and between your boy Hobnob and Alex, there's a fight where there's some different sides of the point system. Interesting. That's an interesting interesting stat, isn't it? I might just be really sad. I think that's interesting, but there we go. Your boy Hobnob not doing enough yet to be able to beat Pinkweb at the end of this session. We still have a yellow flag in Sector 1. Could cause some controversy. But with only a few laps left of this session, now Track Racer knows that his win chances with Dear Alex were quite, you know, risky. Might have been on the edge of a 50-50 who could win it. Have been edged in his favour, you could say, as Dear Alex has fallen behind quite drastically here. Twinkie getting another 3-second time penalty. Still not beating the marvellous 19 seconds that Jens Jardenhol has. Jens, with that 19-second time penalty, with 17.5 seconds to drive behind, he's really got to try and find a second and a half on his teammate to try and get that extra point. It might even be 2 points. I'm not sure. I can't remember. I think it's 1 point. I think it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. It's like 16, 19, 22? Possibly. Something like that. Sounds about right. Sounds about right. Track Racer though. What on earth? Where has this pace come from? Was the DRS the only thing that was keeping Dear Alex involved in this fight? Or was it that Track Racer saw that Dear Alex is gone and just put his foot down? Really put his foot down? Possibly. But how time has flown, how the instants have happened, and how we're on the final lap. Pascal said he's misstepped on my pedal with my feet, so my ankle is damaged. Better retire than make mistakes and cause more problems. Oh no. Excuse me. Well, I hope your ankle's okay. That's not what you want. That is not what you want at all. You're doing quite well as well. You're doing quite well in your return. That's quite a shame. Well, I hope your ankle's alright, Pascal. We'll jump back to the racing as Track Racer will be coming round the final couple of corners as he makes his final way round through Sector 2, down the final DRS straight. Or he won't get any as he is on his own, but we'll go towards the castle section now. It'll be the final few corners, the final time he'll pass on this section of the track, and you can hear the fireworks, you can see the smoke, you can see the confetti for the Kick Sauber, for a CLR race debut. The Kick Sauber and Track Racer will win here in CLR. What a way to do it. Beautifully driven and beautifully done as he's waving his hands around in that cockpit. Very, very good win by the Kick Sauber. Dear Alex will have to settle for P2. Powertrain on his very, very tricky race with the full fuel. And he starts from the back, ends up in P3. What a way to do it. Ricciardo gets P4. Your boy Hobnob, will he get P5? No, he will not, because on penalties, Pinkweb will get that P5. So your boy Hobnob ends up P6, losing a heap of time to his title rival. of Dear Alex and a heap of points as well. Bubba will get P7, and there's a fight going on between Jens and George Gamer, just to have a bit of fun at the end of this race. Well, Jens sends it up the inside, spinning George Gamer out. Oh, Jens, that's not how to do it at all. George Gamer will still get that P8. He's going to be a little bit further behind Bubba than he would have liked. Jens will get P9, but I think that might end up being P10 on penalties. Yes, it will, as Doe will come out ahead. We then have the lap cars, who were doing their best, but there's a couple of points for those drivers. So, you know, at the end of the day, that is what matters. Points. Doesn't matter where you finish compared to the race leader. But what a race. I do apologise for the internet troubles, but it didn't stop Track Racer getting himself on that top step on his debut race. Dear Alex stands next to him, and so does Powertrain. These two doing some good stuff. And sorry, I said 2, I meant 3. I don't know if you can tell my voice is going. Yeah. There's champagne being thrown around. Yeah, I'm not surprised. That was one good race. I've now got to give a driver of the day out, don't I? Ooh, that's going to be a tricky one. That will be a tricky one. I'm going to say driver of the day. I mean, Powertrain, you could say deserved driver of the day, because he had such a good recovery from his qualifying. If anyone's in chat, who do you think should be driver of the day? I think I'm going to give it to someone different. They've never had this driver of the day before. They drove a quiet race, but it was a very, very good one. I was quite impressed with them behind the scenes, and I'm going to say Doe will be driver of the day today. His second race here in CLR Thursday in the Haas car. Obviously, he's only a reserve, but he drove a quiet race, but it was a good race. And that is why I've given driver of the day today, because it was just a good race and well driven. So well done to Doe. Obviously, all the other drivers that drove today drove really well, so they shouldn't be too disheartened. But other than that, I need to round off the stream. So thank you all for tuning in today. If you want to join in, and make sure you look in the Discord bio, and you can join in with the racing action. You can also look into our bio to find the TikTok, YouTube for our race streams, like VODs is the word. You can also find race clips on the TikTok. Other than that, make sure you drop a follow here on Twitch. It helps us out massively, and it's greatly appreciated for everyone that drops a follow. Yeah, that's all I've got to say. I'm going to go rest my beautiful, beautiful voice. And fingers crossed I'll see you again next week. Next week will be... Let's have a look-sees. Let me have a look-sees. We just did Mexico. We're half around the season now. We'll be at Japan. Another tricky one. I might be here. I might not. Like I said earlier on the stream, I'm going to be eating a hell of a lot of pizza that day. So we'll wait and see. Wednesday, which will be 6 days away today, will be Monaco last night. So it'll be Las Vegas next week. So exciting. Make sure you tune in for that. It'll be here on the CLR Twitch. So make sure you don't miss that. And we will see you next time out. Thank you for tuning in. Charge Indie Racing out.